Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rolling with Story. This week, got an exciting one. I'm really excited. It's me, Sam, here with Connor, my illustrious, highly competent co-host.
They're improving week by week.
No worries. Now, today, we're going to be talking about a really kind of quintessential thing in TTRPG games, which is magic items.
Yes.
What we love about them as DMs, what we've loved about them as players, how to introduce them in campaigns, and the kind of most exciting part, I think, which is we're going to be actually designing some magic items based off of some stimulus prepared by our producer, which we haven't seen yet. So it's going to be off the dome.
Ooh, off the dome.
It's going to be, it's going to be loose.
Loosey-goosey. I'm excited about that. Good. I haven't made an item in a while. So
it's been a while for me as well. So it's going to be good fun. It's going to be good fun. Now, with magic items, what do you think they have added to your campaigns, do you think?
So that's a really interesting question for me, because my campaigns, like we've talked through the course of all of these kind of series now, is I play quite high power levels, so I use my items a lot to boost people up to the level that I want to play at. So we normally have 6 attunement instead of 3 attunement, which people are probably like, what? But we have minor and greater attunement items. So we would have the minors are lesser, they're not that important. They boost a stat, or they boost some health, or they boost a kind of something or other, and then your majors, like your weapons, your armor, something big. So that was how I would do it. So I use what items as rewards, of course. I think they are rewards, but also as a way to kind of control balance within my group as well. One way I use items quite a lot, especially in the last campaign, was to help close gaps in player ability. So I had some really new people that were playing, and then some really old veteran players, and I used items that were more powerful or less powerful to help balance out the team, which was a really useful and effective way to do that.
Well,
it worked really well.
It was good.
So balancing, rewards, loads of things. How about you, Sam?
Much the same, to be honest. Now, I wanted to zoom in on one thing you said, which is attunement, which if people aren't sure what that means, attunement is a process by which you become connected to a magical item. Basically, it's to stop, and it takes a period of time. Usually it's like half an hour, or could be a short rest or a long rest, depending what your DM wants. You become attuned to that item, and its effect takes place on you. It's basically to stop somebody having a bag of magic items that they whip one out at random times and having the Swiss Army knives. That's not how D&D wants it to work. It's about you having specific things. It takes time for you to swap them out.
Is it a long rest in rules?
It could be long rest or short rest or hour. I've seen loads of variations of it, to be fair. I'm not sure what the actual rule books say. We don't read the rule books that much, guys, just so you know. We loosey-goosey it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Now, for me, items are, it's about giving people that, like, it makes them feel cool. When you give them the sick flaming sword that burns with cold fire, who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
Who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
And you can boost people's power level, like you were saying. You can. It's a reward system. So I love doing item drops at the end of a dungeon or a boss that you fought, or that an NPC gives you, that sort of thing. Probably the best one I ever did, and I'm going to toot my own horn on this one because it was awesome, was that someone found a magical hammer embedded in the back of this Minotaur who had all of these swords and stuff of heroes that tried to kill them before, embedded in their back, and they pulled it out of his back after they killed him, which was pretty cool, to be fair. Yeah. I like that. And you could do things like that where there's a story to them. Who wielded that hammer before? Who put it in the Minotaur's back? Who did the Minotaur kill? Can we find their bones in his lair? Like, what's going on there? So there's a lot you can do with introducing magic items. Is there any introduction gifting of magic items that really stand out for you?
Yes, there is, but I'm going to do Uno reverse card. You do the exact same.
Oh.
Zoom in on something, which is attaching the items to like the story and the lore is really cool. That's really cool. And I think we'll try and maybe showcase some of that today. Why we do our items, like attaching kind of cool stories to items that can really help sell the item to your players. How would I do introducing items? I mean, your example there of like it being in the back of a boss and them dying and then pulling the weapon from the boss, and it's like a kind of yeah, I love that. That's great. You've got your classic Excalibur, Lady of the Lake. You've got the Narsil. You've got a Broken Blade Reforged. There's so many like archetypes that you can draw from. There's the Elden Ring, you kill a boss, you get their weapon. Like, there's a lot of that going on as well. Like, or you get an evil version of the weapon and you have to turn it good before you can use it. Something like that's quite cool. Weapons that are good but are actually cursed. That's also another curse.
So good.
Yeah, loads of different ways of presenting. Normally, boss fights, treasure troves, that kind of thing is normally how you're going to come across these type of things.
One I had in the first campaign that we played was I was this samurai and I had my father's sword, and that was so good. There was so many motifs of I draw my father's sword and things like that. Was just that reoccurred so much, and that like it gives it that grounding in the lore. It makes it significant for your character, and it can just be so fun. And players love it. Players love the item drop.
Yeah.
I don't know any player that goes, "Oh, item drop again." Everyone loves item drops. Everyone wants more. Because everyone wants to be powerful, don't they? Well, some people probably have restraint, but power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And magic items corrupt even more than that. And I'm definitely susceptible to the magic item. Can I find the best item? How can I optimize
for my
myself?
Build? I need better items.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I love that.
It's seductive.
You're seduced by the power of the powerful weapons. Yeah, I love that.
Now, I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you so you can kind of explain this.
Yeah.
So, pre-built items, i.e. ones you found online or ones you found in the PHP, do you use them?
So,
no, not really. But why not?
I don't use them, but I have nothing against people that do. Please do. There are resources there to use. Like, if you can take time off your shoulders to do it. For me, I love being creative. I actually love the process of creating something for my players. I love tailoring the item to the player. So we talked about this before, like people wanting a certain gaming experience or they want to fight a certain way. Brilliant. I will make an item to allow you to do what you want to do. And also if I'm playing at a high power scale, we're playing really high fantasy, then I need to make my own items because they need to be stronger than PHB to actually kind of excel in the world that I've created, basically. Yeah. How about you, Sam?
I do it early levels. I don't have an issue with it. There's been a few times where I've gone, right, guys, cool, we're going to go to this magic item shop. And rather than saying, oh, there's these 3 magic items, I say, okay, choose a rare magic item that you want from the PHP, and you can have that for this much money. And invariably, one of the players has already researched the top 10 most broken magic items in the PHP and then finds that exact one that boosts their build. Which is okay. One. That's okay. Yeah, we're all optimizers. I know I am. So that is okay. It is good fun. And I love as a player receiving the item that it just unlocks your build. It just lets you do a thing that you couldn't do as efficiently. Or the damage boost. Who doesn't love like 2 more dice?
Give me more damage!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody once described that to me as more clack.
More clack.
He said, more clack. Yeah. And he's not wrong. Everyone does want more clack.
It's true. Yeah.
I love items. And you can do, I know we talked about this before, the narrative grounding is so important. Lord of the Rings does this massively with Narsil, Andoril, the ring itself.
Literally being...
all of the rings. Are so iconic, and there's so many like awesome things.
Glamdring, Gandalf's sword,
Sting,
Sting,
mythical coat,
Yeah.
like all of those things have a grounding in the lore that makes them significant, and it makes people feel like they're wielding a piece of in-game history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're making the history of the item.
Yeah.
And that always feels super cool. I know at one point I had, was it, yeah, Kelios. I was a wizard. I was the Gandalf style desert wizard, a Siren Alashad.
Yeah, we talked about him a couple of times.
Many times. And I had this sword Kelios, the blade of the Lost Magi. And we found out later on in the campaign that the Lost Magi was Merlin.
Yeah.
And that was insanely cool because I was like, I've got Merlin's sword. That's so cool. And that felt awesome. That felt really awesome.
Once again, leaving those like things in items, because items are close to the player. They'll have them all the time. So leaving little clues to fun things that you can tweak later and be like, oh, this is a sword of the Lost Magi. Who are they?
Who is a Lost Magi?
They go, oh, the Lost Magi. That's cool. But it gives you something to play on later if you want to. I could have just left it, but you know, I go, well, actually, that could be quite cool to think about who that is, and then doing something fun with that. I think one thing to talk about is something we've done with our legendary items in game, which is we've had unique types of legendary items that like link to our campaigns that are special. I've done quite a few of them now. You had one in your last campaign, which was really cool. So, like, why do those? Why make them? What's different about them? And so forth.
Again, it's just more grounding. The more roots that you put out into the narrative, the more cohesive and organic the world feels. If the items you guys get are from a specific, awesome in-game process, like the Ore Forged. In a previous episode, we'd have talked about Ore Forging, where we find pieces of these magic items, these like this angelic artifact, which our Forged Cleric would break down, and we do some crazy Dragon Ball Z blasting power in, do this big forging scene. It would take like half an hour, and then it would be made. And it meant that they upgraded, so they leveled up with us, which makes you feel so much cooler because you got this item at level 7. And you actually have it until level 20, and it just, by the end game, it's the most powerful staff in existence. Or the most powerful sword. And that just feels so great.
Yeah.
Go on.
I really love what you did with your version, which was the anti-form version. So we got the going with magic metal, which is such a classic. I love it so much. Selith, this kind of, it was sci-fi, so it was like space metal, kind of in planets and asteroids. This kind of throughout, really rare. And we all got an item which was made of this stuff. And then we had a kind of arch nemesis in a way, because the items all had an anti-form, which is a dark version of the items that we had in the possession of somebody who was like a nemesis. So it was really cool when you come down to these fights and you would have like your opponent would have your legendary weapon, but like the evil version of your legendary weapon. So it kind of felt this like weirdly weird, like even playing ground where you had this weapon, but they had it too, and in like the dark version. And when you beat them, they've like joined together to become this kind of ultimate version of that weapon, which was really, really cool. I really liked it.
What brought me to that actually was I loved the Ore Forge so much. I loved some of my favorite moments in that campaign were forging of the items. Was just so iconic. It was just such an awesome thing. And I wanted to reflect that somehow, but I didn't want to just do exactly the same thing. And I thought I usually the way that we'd usually done it is you got the next piece of your thing after a boss. You've killed a boss, a loot drop in a dungeon, an NPC gives it to you, something like that. So a significant moment to get that. It had to be an achievement because it's a reward for a big achievement in game. And I was like, well, why don't I just make the boss have it? And rather than you discovering the boss has it in his purse after you killed him, the boss is wearing it and using it to beat the crud out of you. And that's always scary. And what I'd do is I'd make that item have abilities exceeding your current one. Yeah. So you'd be looking at it going, oh my God, that's the upgrade. I need that. And everyone was so motivated. And it got to the point in game where, because you're not just you as a player knowing this in the metagame sense, but your actual characters knew that the items existed because you had a vision of it.
Yes,
which meant you were like, I want to fight that guy, because I know my weapon will be more powerful than that.
Yeah,
And your actual character knew that, which was really cool, because then you'd have characters, sometimes you'd know about 2 enemies that had the anti-form items at different times, and you'd all be going, no, let's kill my one. I want the upgrade. I want the upgrade.
And that would swing
you got it more recently.
Yeah, that would swing the choice, because
Yeah.
sometimes it'd be like one person with this anti-form is doing something on this planet, and one person with the anti-form is doing something over here, and then the people are arguing because they're like, well, I want to go fight my antithesis or my antagonist, and that would come into the factor. Yeah, you're 100% right. That was interesting.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I loved that. I really enjoyed that. And just the upgradable items as a concept. I know Critical Role do that with the Ascension items, and it's a real winner. It really is
good.
a winner.
It's really good. I think why it's good is because people will form relationships with that item. So it happens a lot with weapons, but it does happen with armor sometimes. But like in Campaign 3, we had Rose Light, which literally was a fantasy lightsaber. But they get a kind of epic name around them, and then they become something that's so bonded to the character that the idea of putting this weapon down, you would be losing a bit of your identity of the character. So it happened in the other campaign, where it happened in Campaign 2 with a Chardalon, which was like a sword for our paladin, and it just got stronger and stronger, and it just got this legendary status for itself. And people get attached to it, and taking that away would rob the character. So you have to find these ways of going, well, I want you to keep this weapon because it's so cool, and you're not averse to just keeping it and having this for the rest of the campaign. So how am I going to keep this weapon with you? Well, we need to do these tiers of play where it just gets better and better over time and stuff like that. Yeah.
It also, you can do the callback. So the next campaign, you then have the person who's wielding that weapon now.
Yes, it's
and
true.
You 200 years later, you find out that there's this old man living in a mountain who wields the weapon. I know in the last in the second campaign, my first campaign character's sword, the shards of it, were being wielded by an NPC, and that was when you were like, cool. He draws it, it's the shards of Malon, and everyone else is like, oh, that's cool, and I'm like, whoa, that was mine! Oh my god, that's so cool!
And like, it was a broken blade because the character died in lore fighting this epic demon at the end, so the blade was broken, so it was only ever half the blade. So you can tie in, like, items get their own story, which is nuts. You don't think about it, but they do. They start developing their own legend around them. And that can be the real beauty of these things. You end up with an Excalibur, you end up with a Narsil, you end up in part of your lore, and that's awesome. Yeah. That's so cool. Should we give it? Do you think it's time? Should we give it?
Time. We've stewed.
Yeah, we stewed it up.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. So this slide is saying that item 1 and item 2 are simpler, low-level items. Oh, low level. Thinking for around a gritty fantasy campaign with vampires and ghouls. Interesting. A level 3 party. 4 members, a paladin, a warlock, a druid, and a rogue. The items are found in a chest in a haunted castle dungeon.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Awesome.
Let's have a look at this. Oh, that's cool. I'll put that up on the screen for you guys. Whoa! There it is. You see it now.
Awesome.
I hope our editor's up to that. So
insane.
This is cool. So what? So it's a necklace. Red.
For me, it's a blood vial.
Oh, you're going blood vials straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, I see you. So blood makes me think of either necromantic or healing, straight up.
True.
I can see. Ooh, we're finding this in a vampire or.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to? Should we match this to a character? So we've got paladins, warlock, druid, or rogue. We could do one that's kind of like we could do either two options. We could do one that any of them could have, or one that specifically would probably work for.
This looks to me like low level. Low level ones I normally tailor to anyone can kind of pick.
Anybody? Okay.
Up. So first of all, I'm thinking it's a locket. So either you can extract something out and put it in the locket, or you can pull something out of the locket to do something. Right? Okay. That's what I'm feeling like. It's a store of energy or power.
Yeah.
Things you can do with that is like it could be a spell slot. It could be healing. It could be cursed. it's like a blood vial. This could be a vampire's castle. You're finding it in a chest. Chest just lying around, something of value. Is it left there on purpose for you to find?
So where my brain went with that is it's got, say, 10 charges.
Oh, nice.
Each charge is like a 2d6 heal as a bonus action.
For level 3.
Once you finish the charges, the vampire that's actually held within it is unleashed.
Oh,
And it's would be cool, like a caged vampire that it gets out, like an NPC. Would be kind of cool. I don't know what
interesting.
You're saying.
Okay, I know, I love this. So 10 charges doesn't reset then, I guess, because you want it to reach.
No,
the end.
you want it to tick
want
down.
it to
it's
tick
got
down.
a
So
fixed
it's 10
number.
charges, 2d6 healing, which is good healing for level 3, right?
Yeah, really, really good.
That's good. That's good healing. So you're gonna be using it because it's great healing. Who is the vampire? Are they like a rival to the maybe they're like a trapped vampire,
Yes.
a rival to the vampire's
Yes.
castle, something like that, maybe?
Yes.
Who's this person? And what do they do to the team? Or are they good? Are they going to be neutral? Is it going to be a curse? Are they going to follow this guy, people around? Lots of choices.
I think when it opens, the vampire emerges.
Yeah.
DM in the moment can decide if the vampire is going to attack you or not. Maybe that could be a roll. Maybe it could be randomized.
Has been freed though.
Freed's
quite good.
Be
Like,
happy.
the genie doesn't attack the person that lets them
that's
out.
cool. Actually,
Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
Maybe there's a bit of like neutralness to them.
Neutralness. Okay.
There's like I come out. I'm a vampire. I'm out for myself.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You can release me, and you're in the castle of my enemy. Maybe I'll give you like a boon, or maybe you could have them more of as like a appeary disappeary NPC that turns up and does some kind of nefarious. So what we're basically saying here is that vampire can be anyone you want that to be. Here are some ideas.
Yeah.
But it's an item that is a good item for level, so they'll use it, and can introduce a character or an NPC into your campaign. That's really interesting. It doesn't have to be a vampire either. It could be a necromancer. It could be anyone, really. So this could be... It's a cool little item that actually introduces an NPC into your campaign that could stick around. You know, they could be pretty powerful. They could dip in and out of the campaign. They could, that's cool. I like that.
Sweet.
What's its name? What's the name of the item? And then I reckon that's it.
There was an awesome vampire in Warhammer called Conrad von Karstein. We can't steal the von Karstein bit, but Conrad's a cool first name.
Do we want a name on it, because then they're going to go, oh,
That's
this
true.
isn't the name of someone. Could it be like it has healing? Could it be like could we undersell it completely and just be like necklace of healing or locket of healing, and then it's just a complete like, oh, this is cool, 10 charges, that's great. Oh, it doesn't come back with it.
Crimson Locket's cool.
Oh,
You could do
that
just
is cool.
because that doesn't actually tell you that there's a guy hidden inside.
Yeah. The Crimson Locket.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I like that.
Cool,
I like that. Yeah. I did
Next
not
one?
think of the NPC idea, but that's really quite cool. Actually, I like that.
That could
Let's
be sweet.
move on. Next one. Pachow. Whoa. Okay. Make sure that's the cover. Oh, Pachow! You see it right now on the screen. Good job, editor. Well done.
Nice.
This is interesting. This is. Ooh.
Is it a circlet? Is it like a tiara or is it a ring?
It's a circlet.
I think
for
it's
sure.
a circlet as well.
It's a circlet. So instantly my thought is like, gives you, it's level 3. Could get what's it called? I can only think of our game's version, which is for Rebuke the Ferryman. What's the Spare the Dying?
Spare the dying.
Spare the Dying. Yeah.
Okay.
You could get Spare the Dying on this, like
That's
a
cool.
kind of like stopping death. That's quite cool.
That's cool.
Like a Spare the Dying, which is like a cantrip. No, first level.
It's a cantrip.
Cantrip. That spell should not be a cantrip. Well,
The
it's
reason
good
it's so
because we
powerful for
play
us
minus
is we play
health
with
points.
so the reason that we're like with Spare the Dying people is that we played minus health. So if you had 30 HP left and you took 60 damage, you'd be on minus 30. And because Spare the Dying stabilized you, it brought you to 0, which could heal you your entire minus. So if you were 150 minus, you'd be healed 150 by a cantrip, which was very wild and very, very fun. So it's a good cantrip nonetheless.
And you give it access to someone who doesn't normally have it, which could be quite
Grave
cool.
Clerics can do that. Can use Spare the Dying at 30 feet.
Yeah.
So could it be 15 feet? So it's not quite the Glaive Clerics, like a ranged one. Because at the moment it's touch, 15 feet. Which 15 feet is actually a good utility. Is there anything else it would give you? Maybe a spell slot or something like that?
Is there something... A spell slot's quite interesting. Is there a way... Is there something like 2 charges per day you can make the damage type of your spells necrotic or something like that?
Yeah, like a damage type switch.
Like a damage type switcher could be quite cool.
Let's do that. That sounds great. So twice per day you can change the damage type of a spell to necrotic. Yeah.
That's quite cool. Anything else? This could be quite a good item, to be honest.
Level 3, that sounds pretty good. You've got a cantrip you didn't have access to at 15-foot range.
Yeah.
And you can change the damage to necrotic. That sounds cool.
That's quite cool.
What do you want to call this? I'm saying necrosium. That's just where my brain goes. The necrosium.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's where my brain's going.
The necrosium. I mean, I cannot spell that, but I will just take your word for it and say that's really cool. Yeah, the necrosium's quite good. I don't know why I feel like I want this to be like quite a strong item and I want to stick a third thing on it. I know that's
all right,
but I kind of do want to do that.
Bit more match HP, 5 more HP.
Or once per day you can cast False Life on yourself, maybe.
Yeah, that's quite small. That's good. That feels necrotic as well.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yanked my mic. Sorry, everybody.
A little False Life on there. Not much, but it's just a little bit, a little bit necrotic power. That's cool. So that's our first 2 kind of low-level items. Yeah, I like this too.
Right, next one. I'll read the little thing. So, historical fantasy setting with political intrigue. Quite an interesting one there. Yeah. Level 7, so middling level. 3-player party, cleric, wizard, and monk. Interesting. You choose how this item is found by the party and if it's aimed at a certain character.
That's quite interesting. Yeah.
Right, so...
Let's have a look at this first one.
Very cool.
So mid-level, level 7.
Oh.
That's lovely. Okay, that's up on the screen. Whoop.
Surely that's the monks, right?
Sure, it could definitely be the monks.
I feel like the monks with the blade fans. You know that they've got fans
from,
in
Last Airbender.
Last Airbender, where you've got the Kyoshi.
Yeah, which is right there.
I didn't think that.
Awesome. That's really cool. I haven't played a monk before, so this could be really interesting to. First thing is, I think with the fans is like the redirect thing could be quite cool to like incorporate some wind and being able to redirect stuff better. So it's like D10 reduce damage by D10, and then you can redirect that however much.
Yes.
You do it all, you can redirect it. Maybe the first thing is like you can redirect up to 2d10. That's quite strong, but
or it could be it's the same thing as the catch, so same damage reduction. But when it's only when you reduce it to 0, you can throw it back, isn't it?
Yeah, throws it back.
So you could increase it by like another D6. So it could be you reduce
level
damage
7. Are we trying to keep it to normal D&D standards though? I guess
probably to normal D&D standards.
D6 on. I can grab my player's handbook and just have a look at what that's actually called.
Very cool.
Just actually have a look at that. It's called something.
I think there's got to be a key point thing in it as well. I think that all that blue fire is most certainly
key pointy.
Key energy.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Just gonna find some monk stuff here.
Sweet.
So it's called Deflect Missiles. It's D10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your monk level. So, okay, it's got a D6 to deflect missiles. That's cool. That's cool. And then you want another key point. That's quite cool as well.
I reckon
that's good as
point.
well.
Yeah.
So another key point. That's really cool. At level 7 we have evasion, stillness of mind, stunning strike. We've got another key point for kind of other stuff.
Could it be a spell? Could it be a spell?
Could it be D4 to melee damage?
Yeah,
it's like a
sure.
melee
Let's
weapon.
do that.
That could be pretty
D4
standard.
to melee damage. Yeah, that's a really good item. That's really a good item.
Is. What are you going to call it?
Ooh.
Fan blade of something or something like that.
Yes.
You could put a character. Here's what I would do: fan blade of somebody. Keep somebody
person.
for
Yes.
lore. So like,
Cool.
think of a cool name, Sam. Gone. You're good at these.
Casmond.
Oh, sick! Never fails.
Yeah, I like the names, man. I like cool names. Sweet, that's a cool item.
Fan
As a
blade.
monk, I'd be like,
Yeah.
wow, this is going to help me a lot.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. That'd be crazy. Cool.
Next one. Oh no, next level.
Oh, just
that was item
just
3.
Uno.
Awesome.
Or where did they find it as well? We forgot
Oh,
where.
where
they
did
find
they find it?
Oh, ancient temple, something like that. You've gone to like a monk traditional temple or something.
Yes.
You're looking through the scrolls, dusty scrolls. You're trying to find information or something like that for the campaign. You've gone back to maybe your old temple that's lost in antiquity. You find in this kind of unraveled scroll 2 of these fans that have been there for however long. Yeah. They're like, they have in ancient runes Casman's name down the side, and in the fan blades has the paintings of his last battle in the blades.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and maybe later in the campaign you could be going through somewhere and you notice that the valleys look the same as on the blades, and you could link to the fight at some point.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I
that's really cool. I love that. I absolutely love that. Wicked. Great one, man.
Wicked.
Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, that was great. Are we into high? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
High levels. I love the high levels. Let's go buck wild. Classic high fantasy. Yeah, baby.
We love this.
High levels. Level 15 party. 5 players. Paladin, Ranger, Sorcerer, Druid, Fighter. That might dictate how powerful I make the item because of how many many people are in it. Mm-hmm. So I think my focus has gone a little bit crazy here. Let me just change my cami. Let's see if I can lock this down. Schwamp.
Whoop.
Better.
There you go. Perfect.
Cool. So, like I was saying, I think this might change a little bit because of how many people are in the party. So I might make it a little bit weaker. And we can decide whether it's aimed at any specific character. Very cool. All right, let's have a looky.
Love this.
Peregrine Tookie at this. Oh,
okay.
Very
with
nice.
This one,
a bow. Interesting.
For me, it's quite clearly the ranger or the fighter that's getting this.
Yes, for sure. It depends whether the ranger's already got a magical weapon, whether the fighter does.
True.
For sure.
Okay. Now,
Anything
bows.
Yeah.
I at level 15, I'm going to want a significant damage boost.
Yes.
For a magical bow.
Yeah.
So, on top of your normal attacks, could we have is it an extra D8?
D8.
Extra
2D6 could be pretty savage
2D6
as
like
well.
a flame tongue? Like a flame tongue bow, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. So, it's a kind of 2D6 extra bow.
To make it a little bit better, could you decide, because it's got fire and kind of blue arcane energy there, could we decide, you could decide what the damage is between fire or like cold or
that's really cool. So there are 2 damage type options. Sweet. At level 15, it's got to be a +3 bow, right? So it's +3 to hit and +3 to damage.
Yes.
So it's really a strong weapon.
Yeah. Or maybe the fan blade should be a +1 as well.
I also did think that. Thinking the fan blade should be +1 as well.
I put that in.
Nice, good work, man.
So +3 bow. That's real nice. Magical arrows. You don't need to be buying arrows anymore. That's a good thing to just throw on there.
Unlimited arrows. They're either frost or fire arrows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Unlimited arrows. A good thing for archers, we could put an inbuilt misty step on there. It's quite nice.
Ooh,
something where they can like get out of dodge
Cool.
if they need it to be. There's kind of arcane power going on there with the bow. Maybe instead of Misty Step is that's a little bit stronger. You could fire an arrow and teleport to the arrow. It's quite good, but that means you could go 360 feet, so that would be a bit much.
Would be cool.
Maybe an inbuilt Misty Step's quite useful for someone with range.
I think an inbuilt Misty Step is good.
One use for a Misty Step is quite nice. What else do we say? This is, I reckon, you've got room for another one or two things.
Could it buff a spell? Could Hunter's Mark become D10?
That's nice.
Would be really good.
That's nice. Now we're really aiming it more at the ranger
specifically. You could rate
D10 or D8 going up a bracket or 2 brackets.
2. It's on 15. Let's do it.
All right, you're a nutter. You're crazy. Strong. So now our bow's doing D8 plus 2/6 plus D10. It's crazy. We're getting into my realm of territory here. I like it. Okay, I love it. That's
Level
fine.
15, you're fighting pretty serious stuff, aren't you?
You're fighting pretty serious stuff. And if you're playing with us, you're fighting.
Yeah. And as a DM as well, stuff. And if this is outperforming all the other weapons, just pump the boss up a bit.
Yeah.
Or find a way that the other items can be buffed a little bit.
Another way, what's good about doing those upgraded legendary items is if someone overtakes, you can then upgrade the other item to bring the other person back up if they're feeling a bit like, oh, I'm kind of underpowered at the moment. That is a lot of damage on that bow. It's got less utility type stuff, but it's going to be doing a serious shed ton of damage. Do we want to leave it there at legendary?
Sounds. I think if we're going for, we're trying to approximate for 5th edition rather than our campaigns.
Yeah.
In our campaign, we'd add 2 more things to this.
Yeah, we would. I'd add one more utility thing to this, I think.
Okay.
Let's say we're doing it for our
do an optional. If it's going to be a mega end game item, what would you add?
Yeah. Okay. Optional. I want something. We've got a movement. We don't have 2 arrows. My Hunter's Mark's gone up. It does more damage. There's like a nature backdrop here. Is there something I can put on here that's got like grasping vines? Like you fire arrows into the ground and like vines come up and wrap around people's feet or something. That'd be really interesting as well because it would be nature, fire, and cold at the same time. So it would be a real like amalgamation of elements, but all kind of natural elements at the same time. So there'll be like a real like.
I like.
So that. I don't know the spell that does that. Is it? What's it called? Is there like a grasping vines or a type of spell?
Yeah.
I can have a look.
Yeah.
If you don't actually know all the spells off by heart, guys, sorry. It doesn't have.
If not, you could make a vine thing where everyone takes a dex save within like 25 by 20 by 20 foot square.
Yeah.
If they fail, they're restrained and they suffer 2d6 damage, something like that.
100%. I mean, I like to use spells because sometimes they're easier.
Yeah.
But you can totally make your own kind of version of these type of things. I would definitely do that. So say I can't find something, I would do what Sam said. I would put this kind of... I would give the name ability Grasping Vines, and then I'd say, you shoot an arrow at the ground. The arrows go into the ground and awaken spirits of the earth, and they wrap around people, and they make them do the grapple check, and if they fail, they are grappled. And it gives you a way of getting away again. They get grappled, you can fall back.
Nice.
And I would say short rest on that one, maybe for both Misty Step and the thing. Maybe a short rest.
Refresh on a short rest, so you can use it every short rest. Cool. Nice, love that. I love that.
Yeah. So so what would you call it? There's a real like I was thinking cold, fire, nature. There's a kind of tempesty type vibe going here. Hurricane, something natural disastery, I guess, like something like that. Nature's Wrath or something. Or
that's a good one.
Yeah. Could it be like name Nature's Wrath? That could be quite good. Name, Nature's
Gaia,
Wrath.
Nature's Wrath.
Oh,
Gaia's like the Earth Titan, isn't she?
Yeah.
So the bow Gaia, Nature's Wrath.
Nature's Wrath. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. That's cool. That's a strong item. That's a real strong item. Yeah. I give it to them level 15 and let them coast all the way to 20 with that bad boy.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And they would definitely do that. That would be fine.
Absolutely awesome.
Okay, last but finally not least, Oh, if there's time, there's definitely time. We love it.
Bonus
Oh.
items.
Oh.
Tell you what, so we can either
Yeah.
discuss some cool little items we've made already, or we can kind of fluff up and make some now. What would you rather do?
Say that again.
So we could either talk about cool items that we gave out at points in the campaigns, like kind of maybe unsung heroes.
Yeah, okay. That could be cool.
Maybe talk about that. Could be kind of fun.
Sure, that'd be great.
Do you have any unsung hero, any items that you really liked?
Unsung
you gave
heroes.
out?
I loved an item that I gave to a druid of mine, and it was a robe of starlight. It was like this robe dress. I imagine it like Galadriel's dress, and it was like
awesome.
full starlight. Like I just imagine that. I just loved how that would look. Mainly just because of how it would have looked. The stats were cool. It had like portents on it, and it had some really cool stuff as well. But I really, really just liked how it looked.
Nice.
How about you? You got one?
I got two standouts. So one was an item I gave out literally after the first boss, which lasted the whole game, which was a bag of holding, except it had a safe room in it.
Yeah.
That had enough oxygen for you to live for 8 hours, I think, for 4 people. It was so useful. The amount of things where everyone would jump in the bag, which is the whole point of a bag of holding, is you can't do this.
Yeah.
That you guys would jump in, sit in the safe room. Your sneakiest character would sneak through and succeed all his stealth checks. Get in, and then you'd all leap out of the bag to kill the person. It was just so good.
Smuggle us in.
It was really fun.
It was good. It was really
The
cool.
other one was this bag of onyx coins.
Oh, that was cool.
The coins just turned a skill test, save, or attack or whatever into a 50-50. It just became a coin flip.
That was so cool.
So if you were in a situation where there was a save that you knew you were going to fail, like our wizard had it, and he was never going to pass a strength check or a strength save, so he just flipped a coin. And he had 10 of them, and they got used up, and once they were done, they were done. So he'd go, I'm going to use a coin, and everyone would go, how many have you got left? And you go, I've got 7, now I've got 6.
Yeah.
That was fun. I really liked that.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of... I really liked... the Mantle of the Boar King for Haraldin was really cool. Found these boar-headed pauldrons, and it gave him the ability to control a terracotta army of clay dwarfs, which was pretty
awesome.
mad. And they just looked awesome. What else was there? There was loads. There's so many items that I
had a ring of water. Which basically, I was a wizard, and my wizard was I was just yo-yoing. I was just going down and then going back up and down and up and down, and it was really punishing. And I said to you, I was like, oh man, I'm going down so much. And you were like, okay, cool, let me cook something up. And then you found the perfect solution, which was all healing dealt to me is doubled. And it had a thing that I could activate, heal people 2d8 as a wizard and move at double speed. So it had a passive and an active, which is it's actually a cool mechanic. Is to have a thing that works all the time and a thing that you can activate, which does something really significant for a small period.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It was a real winner, and it really kept me in the campaign. It kept my character relevant because everyone was yo-yoing, but I had so few hit points, but I was double healing, so I was getting up all the time. It was really, really good. I loved that one. And it felt sick. Minor achievement, by the way, guys. We talked about the minor and major achievements when we had 6 of them.
Yeah.
That was a minor achievement. So that tells you where our major achievements
were. Yeah. I mean, that's also demonstrates the balancing of what you can do with items to balance people. I know it's a ridiculous item, but you can use it to... I'm really struggling to keep alive. Okay, cool. Let me rectify that problem. You still went down loads, but it wasn't every single episode that you were struggling to keep alive. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly right. That
was great.
That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
That was fun.
I want to shout out our producer for getting all of that together. Some really awesome work that really helped us do that episode. So, thank you, producer. And thank you, everybody, for coming along and listening. Really pleased to have you along. Yeah. We want to hear what items you're using.
Yes. Which one of these items you liked the most? Yeah.
Is there one of these you want to use? Are you going to take the bow and trim off 3 of the things because it's completely busted? Probably, yeah. And that's okay. Just let us know. Like, comment, subscribe. we want to hear from you. We want this channel to grow, and we want you to be there as we grow. Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, let us know what items. And Connor,
keep on rolling.
He did it. I'm gonna keep jumping.
You're gonna drop me on the spot every time. Oh my lord! I'm gonna have to print it off and put it in front of me.
The processing of Keep on rolling, guys. Thank you very much.
Rolling.
See you
Thank you
later.
much.